Hello everyone, I'm Hakes and welcome to my next video. Today, I'm going to be playing as the United States and I'm going to try to do everything required to get the achievement to Arms and Dixie, which we have to become the Confederacy and defeat the Constitutionalists. So, let's begin. As always, I'm going to be not doing historical AI focuses, but since I already have the achievement to Arms and Dixie, I'm not going to be playing in Iron Man mode, so I'll be free to make a few more mistakes, but I'll try to make as few as possible. And let's hope nothing too bad happens. For research, we're going to just do basic research that you should do every game. I, so just follow what I'm researching. And for the last slot, you can just pick whatever, but I'm going to do probably artillery because I do plan on doing I do plan on doing the doctrine superior firepower. Construction. This probably isn't optimal, but I just build um infrastructure. So when I do start building military and civilian factories, I'll it will go way faster. I'm doing it in the States. I'm pretty sure I get to keep in the Civil War. Next is focus. Now we cannot start doing America first until we reestablish the gold standard, which we can't do until November when the Republicans are in power. So until then, we're just going to be doing military focuses and starting down the War Department and doing everything we can to get as many bonuses from these. But before we select a focus, we're going to do a small meat lobbying effort to get support, and we're going to start this. And I'll update you when something new happens. Also, I'm gonna set up my army. I'm gonna divide it to 12. So we have an army of 12 and 24. So I'm not exactly sure where so the constitutionalists spawn in New England and the West Coast. So I'm going to put my army of 12 right over here by Philadelphia, and I'm going to put my army of 24 over here. So they were able to move out quickly when the Civil War starts. I'm also going to assign Douglas MacArthur. He's the best of the best. And just two army guys with the best attack. And now we're prepared until something interesting happens or the Civil War, whichever one comes first. Alright, stuff is already starting to happen. Germany is in its civil war like it usually does when we're playing non-historical. So we'll see if the Germans will go monarchist or democratic. Either way, that could be useful for us if they can take out the United Kingdom or the Soviet Union, who are giant threats to us, because they both may try to go against us. Alright, to do what we're trying to do, when this event comes up in November, we have to do the Republicans winning the presidency. So we'll get Alf Landon as our president, and we go over here and we'll be able to reestablish the gold standard, do America first, and start making our way to the path of fascism. Oh, while playing as America, you get these events to build things in different states, and they'll give you a good amount of support in the House and the Senate, which I'm currently lacking. So this we'll have to build a military factory in Utah, which I'm pretty sure we keep, and we get more representatives and senators to help us, which is always good. As always, the Spain is basically in pieces, which is always to be expected. And now we are reestablishing the gold standard, which will help with our economy, and we'll start leading down America first and do all these focuses, even though they will lead to a civil war. Alright, so I accidentally skipped the event, but it looks like the United Kingdom has just organized the black shirts, which means they're also going fascist, and we probably won't have to deal with Canada or Mexico just trying to attack us. Well, not really Mexico, but Canada. So it really helps us free out a front, and let's hope. Oh, it looks like Mexico's going communist, so let's just hope we can join with the British. All right, once you finish America first, this focus right here, you're going to want to have 150 political power saved up so you can get this guy, Charles Coughlin, a fascist demagogue, which is needed to increase your support for the Silver Legion, and he's just required overall just to ally with the Silver Shirts. While we wait for us to get enough support for the the Silver Legion, we're gonna start our economy. We still have the Great Depression, which is crippling us. So we do have enough support to start fixing that problem. So we're gonna go down this path right here until tax reform to make sure we have enough economy and political power to do everything we need to do, including giving statehood to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. If you recruit the fascist demagogue right after you do America first, by the time you do one more focus, you should have enough to start the focus ally with the silver shirts, which will allow us to start moving down the path of our civil war. It looks like China is enacting the China policy a little early, and now is trying to conquer all the different Chinese warlords. And if they do survive this, they have all this as cores, which means it will make them way more powerful than they already are. And I'm just happy I won't have to fight through China this playthrough. Alright, once you do ally with the silver shirts, you're gonna get this event, protests in the capital. And you're gonna want to rush down to recruit the Free Corps and work with the Bund, which will allow us to it will give us a bunch of bonuses and stop certain states from succeeding from us once the Civil War begins. Because we're already going to be missing a lot of our country, we don't want to be missing too much. This is actually pretty interesting. It looks like the anarchists may win the Spanish Civil War. So I don't know what this really means for the rest of the world, but they'll get war goals on a lot of people. So let's hope they serve as a good distraction for us and make sure everyone stops. Well, no one tries to stop us. Alright, it looks like the Soviet Union is about to have a civil war. We're gonna supply them with rifles just to weaken the Soviets and make sure they don't try to work with Japan to take us out, which they can do in their focus tree. Alright, a bunch of events just happened too, which just made us lose a bunch of stability and weapons. The Civil War is about to start, but we did complete work with the Bund, which will make things way easier when the Civil War starts. So now we're going to do National Prosperity Program for more stability, and we're going to try to set up training camps. Oh, we can't do that for some reason. They must be because we are at war. The Japanese are at war, so we can't really. But we were going to, but it shouldn't make much of a difference that we can't set up training camps. Alright, so a lot of events just happened. The Boston Rebellion. So the constitutionalists have just started an uprising against the government, and now three events just happened. Amelia Earhart wants to enlist, so that's always good. And because we did the right focus, work with the Bund, the Midwest will stay with us, which is really good because of their high infrastructure. And now the Boston Rebellion has begun. We are now the American junta, and they just stole a bunch of our soldiers. But luckily for us, we have way more in reserves. Also good for us, the Japanese want to help us. The West Coast has now just succeeded from us, which always happens. I'm pretty sure you can't avoid it, but let's just hope that they don't join the Allies or anything, but that shouldn't be a problem for long. If you're trying to rebuild, go to fascism, this event will happen where our field marshal MacArthur will try to become the leader of the country. As you see, we get a bunch of different good effects for us. So there's really no reason not to pick him. The only bad thing is he's no longer a field marshal, but he's way more powerful as our leader. Looks like our push in the north is going well. We'll be able to take the capital, but we don't want to weaken them too early. Because we want to be able to do the focus, honor the Confederacy. Then we're going to go down to the War Powers Act, and we'll become way more powerful. All right, I'm not sure what just happened, but our color changed back to our original one, and we're just simply called America. And our flag looks like if we were some kingdom or something, but I it doesn't really affect things. It's just a little strange. Alright, so if this happens, at this point, just hand over Puerto Rico for now. Don't worry, once we become fascist, we'll retake it, but we just do not have the power to defend it right now. There's no point in us trying to retake it. We lost our core on it, so I'll just leave them for this game. But in good news, we can now honor the Confederacy, which will allow us to turn into the Confederacy of America and turn fascist. So we will be declaring war on somebody soon. Alright, we have just completed Honor the Confederacy, which will give us these choices. We're gonna celebrate Montgomery Convention Day, which now we are back to being the American junta. And now we will move the government to Richmond. So now, once we get 75 political power, we can enshrine states' rights, and that's one step closer to our goal. Alright, it's time for us to enshrine states' rights, which will give us more stability and more popularity of fascism. Now, we just need to do these two, and well, our goal is complete. We'll win the Civil War and go down the War Powers Act. The Civil War is going great for us. We just took out the Boston Rebellion out of Boston, and now they're only on the West Coast. And then we put the rest of my soldiers on that border, and soon the rebellion will be defeated. Alright, so we've won the Civil War. Now we're gonna take all our stuff back. And now with the Philippines, we are going to just change their government. And now and soon we shall become the Confederacy. Alright, the time has now come. We are doing the Constitutional Convention, which makes us the Confederate States of America. Our goal is now complete, but we are going to try to get even more land from Canada, Cuba, and a bunch of other places until we get to global hegemony. Alright, after you win the Civil War, this event will pop up, and I like to keep MacArthur. He's really good, so I'm gonna say the Republic still has need of him. Oh, and I also joined the British Empire faction because they do get a war goal against us right here on Unite the Anglosphere, and I cannot deal with that right now. We'd lose immediately. Alright, with the completion of the Canadian corridor being annexed by us, we have done basically almost everything needed to gain all the territory we can. But now we are just, well, we're really powerful. We can probably take down anyone we wanted to, especially if you would increase your conscription, build more factories. America is basically super strong at this point in the game. But this challenge is over for me. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any recommendations, put them in the comments below. Thank you. Goodbye.